Hello, my name is Benga Nolaja, and welcome to your content marketing class. What is content marketing? This is how I like to define content marketing. It is just a way of giving your audience what they want so that they can give you what you want, which is their money and their love. But this is a much longer definition of content marketing by the Content Marketing Institute, which says content marketing is a type of marketing that involves the creation and sharing of online material such as videos, blogs, and social media posts that does not explicitly promote your brand, but is intended to stimulate interest in your products and your services. So you're not essentially saying, hey, look at us, our brand is great. What you're often saying is, look at the problem you have, this is how you can solve it. And when you're ready to solve it, we're right here to help you. You see, it's a nuance different, but at the end of the day, your brand gets the visibility that it wants while also helping your users do what they want to do better. Now, what do you get when you do content marketing? It could go anywhere from just having a better search engine optimization, because the truth is the more content you push out, the more Google is able to index your website. Now you must have heard something like this during your SEO class, and if you want to learn more about how to use content for your SEO, go and check out the SEO model. You can get greater brand authority. The more content that people see from you, the more they come to respect you as a brand, and the more they begin to perceive you as the authority when it comes to this brand. In digital marketing, one of the best companies that people look up to is HubSpot, and the way that they got to this point is by pushing out lots of good content that people love to consume. Also, you can get stronger social media following by pushing out more content. But because the truth is, as much as people just want to have fun on social media, they also want someone that can help them live their best life. And depending on the kind of industry that you exist in, if you push out content that people really find useful, they'll oftentimes follow you so that you can get that content whenever you publish them. Also, it's going to enhance the understanding and consideration stage of your business. Now, if you've seen some other modules in this course, you've seen us mention the buyer journey from time to time. At the interest and consideration stage is when individuals are wondering whether or not they want to go with your business or with another business. Another advantage of content marketing is how it enhances the understanding of your brand and your audience's consideration of your brand. In the buyer's journey, there are two key elements there, which is consideration and interest. At the point where your buyers are at that stage, the more information they can get about your brand, the better for them to make up their decision about going with your brand when it comes to their purchase decision. Another thing that content marketing does for your brand is to support all of your online marketing channels and activities. Content is king, and that was true 10 years ago and is still true now. At the core of all your digital activities is the content. The reason why people come to your brand is because of what they've heard or seen about you. The reason why people stay with your brand oftentimes is because of the content of your service or the content of your product. Now that we understand the benefits of content marketing, it's good to know that the benefits of content marketing are not limited to the things that we've mentioned, but those are the key ones. There are a whole lot more that you would discover when you begin to dive into content marketing yourself. Now, do not forget, content marketing is about giving people what they want so that on the long run, they will give you what you want, helping them to live their lives better so that they can make a conventional decision in the favor of your business. Now, let's take a look at the categories of content. There are two broad categories. There are topical content and there are evergreen content. They explain themselves, but let's dive a bit deeper into them. Now, topical content are usually quite newsworthy. Any platform that publishes content regarding news or things happening in the world at that particular time, oftentimes that is topical content. And the good thing about topical content is that they can easily get into ongoing trends such that you can reach a large amount of people in a very short period of time. But the downside is that they have a very short shelf life. If you publish a topical content today, Monday, by Saturday, it's possible that it's not going to be relevant any longer. Also, they are limited in how much you can repurpose them. Now, repurposing is when you take one content and now provide it on different platforms and in different formats. Let's say, for example, you publish a blog post. You can do a video about the blog post. You can do a podcast about the blog post. But when it comes to publishing topical content, there is limitation to what you can do with the first content that you've published. Now, on the other side of that is evergreen. Evergreen content, like the name suggests, have a longer shelf life. You can publish a content today, and in another 10 years, the content will still be relevant. Also, it can be relevant to a larger group of people depending on how you have written the content. Also, they're efficient in that there is a higher opportunity for repurposing. So you can do the job of creating one blog once and then cascade it to other different formats and form factors. You can have a blog, convert it into a video, convert it into an infographic, convert it into a social image, and whatever your mind desires. Much later in this module, we're going to look at the different content formats that you can explore for your brand. Now, in your content marketing strategy, it's easy to say that, oh, I'm just going to do evergreen content. But usually the best stack is to combine topical content with evergreen content. Try to balance them out so that you can use topical content to contribute to ongoing conversations and then use evergreen content to make sure that your brand is relevant over a time series. Now, these are some examples of some evergreen content. How-to articles are one of the most popular ones, and they work because people love them. When you're stuck in something that you're doing, oftentimes you go to Google and search for how to do X, and the best article that can answer that question will come up on Google search. So that could be your first line of attack when it comes to publishing content. There are tutorials, beginner's guides, FAQs, case studies, list articles, often called listicles. Oftentimes those are articles that says 21 ways to get better at riding bicycle in Lagos traffic. Now, me, because I love biking in Lagos, that is an article I would love to read if I was a beginner. But if I was, now that I'm farther along in my bicycling experience, I'll probably want to read a more in-depth article on how to ride on how to ride your bicycle in Lagos without getting knocked down by one of those downfall buses, for instance. Another thing you can publish is checklist. If you were, say, talking to bikers again, you could have a checklist on 21 things to check in your bicycle before riding out early in the morning. You may say you want to check your light, you want to check your brake, you want to check that your tires are pumped right, you want to check that you have your water bottle filled with water. So that could be a checklist, and that would often help people. Now, an example here is an article that was published on Wild Vision sometime last year, which was just commenting on mobile trust, which is how much people have come to trust mobile in terms of paying through their mobile phones. Now, that wasn't that way many years ago, but now people trust their mobile phone. And that was something that we wanted to comment on, and that was what we did. And the way we did it was to do a bit of a research and then come up with this content to not just publicize the research that we have done, but genuinely let people know that, look, people are much more comfortable paying online now. And if you were a business who is interested in receiving payment online from your users, don't be afraid to make your payment open to people online to easily pay for your product. Now, I was talking about the buyer's journey earlier when I was talking about the benefits of content marketing. Now, let's just quickly run through how content works for you across the different levels in the buyer's journey. In the buyer's journey, you have the awareness stage, the interest stage, the consideration stage, the conversion stage, and also the retention stage. At the point where you're trying to let potential customers know your brand, there are some types of content that you can create. Oftentimes, it could be just explaining your brand and what you do. At the interest stage, you could go deeper into the different functionalities of your product. How does your product solve a particular problem of a user? You can do the same at the consideration stage. At the conversion stage, you want to foster a warm and personalized experience that is directed to the individual, asking them about actually buying your product. How can they use your product and where can they buy them? At the retention stage, you're sharing content that is encouraging not just repeat business, but also allowing people to share your product with their friends and get their friends to come use your product. An ambassadorial program will be a perfect fit for the retention stage. Now that we understand how content plays at every level of the buyer's journey, you should know that you can't just go straight and start developing content. There needs to be a plan behind what you do, which is why we need to understand what your content marketing strategy is. A content marketing strategy is a plan that is ever evolving and determines your content marketing goals, your target, and your objectives. It takes into account your audience, their buying journey, and the format and style aligned with your wider business. Now, we're going to look at the different elements of your content marketing strategy. Your content marketing strategy is an iterative process. It starts with research, and then a plan, and then the actual creation and curation of content. We'll talk about curation much later. Then onto publishing, and then finally measuring what you're doing, and then driving all that insight back into your planning stage after a particular time frame that you must have set for yourself. We're going to start with research. We'll look at three core things: social listening, competitor analysis, and content audit. When you listen on social media, these are some things that you get. First of all, you can identify opportunities for your brand, not just business opportunities, but also opportunities to connect with your audience. And a lot of brands have done this. For example, there was a time that Access Bank typed out a content about the royal wedding. And what they said was they could not wait to see what a particular local celebrity called Ebuka would wear to that wedding. And what happened was Ebuka responded by saying, "Oh, this is nice. I can come down to your office and discuss the financials of this if you're willing to sponsor me." Now, what happened after that exchange was that a whole lot of their audience on the internet connected to that message and began to reshare. Now, this is only an example of the different ways that local brands connect and jump on trends going on. But if they were not active on social media, listening to what people are talking about, there was no way that they could have done that. Also, you can spot potential risks and threats to your brand. Are there things that people are doing to harm your brand online that you can easily correct by coming online to quickly let people know the true state of things in your company or in the industry? Also, it would help you understand brand and business position. How do people see you? If they are not seeing you in the right way, oftentimes you know how people are seeing you by the kind of comment that they are leaving in regards to your brand. And if they are not seeing you in the right way, you can easily correct their impression. And if you want to change your brand positioning from a particular section to another section, you can do that. Let's say over time people have come to know your brand as a brand that does not care for its users. You can begin to reposition your brand to one that cares and is intentional about customer engagement by sharing the certain type of content on the internet that shows that you care. An example could be to share a journey of you delivering a product from your warehouse to your customer and you getting the customer feedback and documenting all that on social. People begin to say that, oh, this is a customer that cares about the buyer journey, that cares about the buyer's emotion and is intentional about making sure that that emotion is not ruffled or trifled with. Now, for social listening, these are some tools that I recommended. TweetDeck is a fantastic tool that you can use for measuring how people are conversing with you on social. But not just how people are conversing with you, but how people are talking about your industry in general. By Googling TweetDeck and going to TweetDeck homepage, you can log in with your Twitter account and set up different alerts for your brand. Social mentoring is another platform that you can use, and this one works across all the platforms, and FanPage Karma works for Facebook specifically. What you'll also get when you're listening on social is to spot content gaps for your brand. You can also identify innovation that you can use to innovative ways that you can use different platforms that exist. You can also define the content that works well for your interested audience based on the things that audience segment is sharing online. Also, you can negate any clash of content or ideas with the other competitors in the industry. What this means is that if someone is already doing something that is similar to what you are thinking about, by listening on social, you can understand that, okay, let's try to do something else, or let's find another way of expressing this idea that we've thought about. Now, this is what your TweetDeck looks like. By going to the TweetDeck homepage, you can sign in and set up different columns that would achieve different objectives that you have. You could say you want to set up an alert for when someone mentions a particular word, you're going to get a notification for that. All you just need to do is to click on the search bar and set up a notification for the particular word that you want to get notifications for whenever someone uses it online. Your content audit. When you're conducting your content audit, it's similar to how you will listen on social, but this time it's just about looking inward into the kind of content that you're currently pushing out. You want to check what your current KPIs and objectives are. You also want to look at what your content inventory is, the forms of content that you push out, and the types of content that you push out. You want to look at your current audience segment. Who are the people most interested in your content right now? Is it gravitating more towards the female gender or the male gender? Is it gravitating towards people in a particular socioeconomic class or in a different socioeconomic class? Also, you want to look at your website performance and user experience. How are people engaging with your website? You want to look at your social platform and review what you're doing there. Also, you want to continue to listen socially and check out what your competitor is doing. Oftentimes, you can combine your immediate Google Analytics platform and then a native reporting tool of the different social platforms that you use. And this will often give you a good overview of what your performance is across social media and also on your blog or on your website. When you've done this research, you've checked what you are doing, you've checked what the competitor is doing, and you've also looked at what individuals are talking about generally on social, it's time for you to plan. At your planning stage, you want to explore your content goals, the content topics that you want to share. You want to develop a content calendar and also want to settle on a content management system. Those are the things that we're going to talk about in this section. For your content goals, there are different goals that you can set for your brand, and oftentimes they will key back into the buyer journey. It will go from anywhere from awareness to engagement to affinity to conversion and on towards advocacy. Advocacy is when people take your content and begin to actively share it with the people in their own network or begin to simply talk about your brand in a way that they almost sound like they are paid to do it. They become an evangelist for your brand. And those are the different objectives that you can want to achieve with the different content that you're pushing out. After you've settled on what your content goals are, the next thing you want to do is to figure out, what am I going to start writing about as a brand? And that leads us to your content topics. To come up with relevant content topics, you need to resort back to the research stage. Usually at your research stage, you must have figured out what your keywords are, what the search trends are in your industry, and what the audience is interested in. And the way to see this is oftentimes through the native reporting platform of the different social media websites that you're on, and also your Google Analytics. Keyword establishment can easily be done by checking out different platforms like Google Keyword Planner or the Google Trends platform. Now we're going to do a bit of a practice of that. In a few in the next few slides. But you also want to know what search trends are, what it is that people are searching for. Oftentimes, the Google Trends platform will allow you to do that. Another platform that will also allow you to do that is the Google Keyword Analysis. Also, you want to check what the audience insight is by going to Facebook Audience Insight. By going to your Facebook Insight or your Twitter Insight, you can easily figure out what these are. If you don't have any of this platform already, oftentimes Google Trends will reveal what people are thinking about, and also Google Keywords Planner will do the same. Let's quickly play around with Google Trends too, and let's see what we can get there. Oftentimes, what you will get with Google Trends is to see what the search trend is about your particular industry, or you can also get keywords that are related to the sort of business that you're into. Now, we are going to run with a fictitious company, which is Lekki Bike Shop. We are going to see what people are searching for when it comes to bicycling in Lagos and other keywords that might be related to cycling in Lagos. Now that you've been able to see some trends and some keywords that people are searching for, you can now pull all this together into your content calendar. And this is what your content calendar is. Now that you've gotten a good idea of what the trend is in your industry and what some keywords people are using to find businesses like yours, it's time for you to build your content calendar. Now, your content calendar is usually a central document mapping out the different content that you're pushing out and on what platforms that you're pushing them out on, the different days, the different times, and the different objectives for a particular period. Now, we'll look at the sample content calendar much further in this model. But these are the benefits of setting out a content calendar. It will help you plan. You know what objectives that you want to achieve and what content is driven towards that particular objective. Also, it will prevent writer's block. Now, this is one of the biggest excuses when it comes to content development. I used to develop content without a content calendar, and every time I will find myself stuck at the beginning of the week trying to figure out what content to develop for my client or for my business. But with a content calendar, I already have a clear idea of what the topic is, a basic summary of what that topic is about, and whenever I put my pen to paper, or more appropriately, whenever I put my keyboard on to a new Microsoft Word document, I just begin to flow because I already have a clear idea of what I want to write about. Also, it will help you stay on track. You know clearly what the objective is, and you know the content that is meant to address that particular objective, which means you never go off brief. Also, it allows you to focus, and every single content that you push out is aligned with the wider business objectives. When you want to design your content calendar, these are some key elements that you need to have in there. You want to have your copy, which is oftentimes, in this case, the topic that you want to write about. You want to add a bit of a creative there, which is the oftentimes maybe the blog featured post. But in this case, you could easily do away with it if you want. But something that is absolutely key is your theme. What brand theme is this particular topic addressing? And you can get a theme based on the keywords that you've seen. People type into the Google search to find your business. Date and time is very key, and also the platform where the content is going on. Now, this is just a general guide. You can add different types of content into your calendar, but there are two key things that you cannot afford to miss out on, which is the theme and the topic. Also, the date and time of the content. So that makes it three key things: the topic, which in this case we are calling copy, the theme of the content, and also the date and time. Those you cannot do without. In the sample content calendar we're going to look at, we are going to see how all these different elements have been expressed. Now, this is a sample content calendar for one of the brands that we manage at the agency. In this calendar, you would see that there is a due date, which is when this content must be ready. In some other calendar, you see another version of date that says publish date, which means you see two different types of date here. You see a due date and a publish date. The due date is simply when this article must be ready for publish, and the publish date is actually when the admin or a webmaster actually pushes the publish button on that post and it goes out into the world. The next thing you're going to see is your topic, which is what we had called copy in the previous slide. Now, this topic is oftentimes a working topic that expresses what you would like to talk about on that particular content piece that you want to push out. Right next to the topic is the theme, and oftentimes this is the general idea or the general sentiment that the brand wants to promote with the particular content. For this particular content and for this particular brand that we're working with, the theme that the brand wants to promote with the particular content is innovation. Our safety journey so far, they want to use that content to promote innovation, which could talk about the innovative ways that the company has been keeping their employees safe across a particular time frame. The next thing is the description, which provides a basic summary of what the content is about. The next thing on the calendar is the type of content that this is, and this is just letting any writer who might be in charge of this know that, okay, this content is going to be an infographic. There are other types of content that it could be. It could be an article, it could be a list article, it could be a quiz. There are different types of content formats to choose from. Also, next to the type of content is the author that will be in charge of the particular content in the calendar. And right next to that is what we have called editorial considerations, which are all the things that the individuals who are writing this content will need, either from the client or from other people, other stakeholders in the content to make sure the content comes out well. Now, this is a sample content calendar, and you would see that we've had the date, the topic, the theme, a description of the content, the type of content, the author of the content, and different editorial needs, different editorial dependencies. Now, this might be different for you, but what you want to make sure you spell out is to at least have a due date for your content calendar, a topic, a theme, and you can also have the summary so that you do not forget what exactly it is that the content is about when you were planning the content calendar. If you've designed the content calendar, the next thing you want is a place where you're going to publish your content. Now, that is what content management systems are for. A content management system, or a CMS for short, is a web application designed to make it easy for non-technical users to add, edit, and manage content on a website. It used to be that before you can edit a website, you need to have a working knowledge of CSS and HTML. With content management systems, you don't need any of that. All you need is just a working knowledge of how to use a computer, and you're good to go. There are so many different types of content management systems, but the two that we like to use are WordPress and Medium. WordPress has been around for a very long time and it's powering up to 75% of the internet. Now, Medium is a is a newcomer into the space, but it is even much easier to use than WordPress. For practice, we are going to create and customize a Medium page for Lucky Bike Shop. Now that we've covered the different content management systems open to you, let's use Medium. We're using Medium mostly because it's easy to use. It's one of the easiest content management systems that you can use to manage your content on the internet. Now, it's also easy to use WordPress, but if you want to start tomorrow to start publishing, Medium is what you want to do. Because to use WordPress, you need some understanding of basic HTML at least. But Medium, you can start right away, and we're going to show you. To start, simply go to medium.com. I was reading this article before this session, so I will go right back and go to medium.com. It's just going to show me the top trending articles on Medium for that day. I will click to get started. I can either sign in with my Google or sign in with my Facebook. Now, I already used Medium on my personal account, but I'm pretty sure that I've not used Medium on my company account. So that's what I'm going to do. I will open a Medium account with my Wild Fusion's email. Oh, I'm signing in. I'm meant to sign. Oh, right. That's it. Now it's loading. Even if you did not have a Medium account before, you just need to sign in with your Google account and it's just going to show you what to do. It's one of those platforms that is just very intuitive. It tells you what to do without giving you any distractions. You can see the homepage, nothing else to do but to dive in. And that's what we're going to do, dive in. Now, they're going to ask you some of the things that you're interested in as a company or as an individual. So you are Lucky Bike Shop. So what things are you interested in? So we could look at art, for instance. Um, so note that you can, select as much of the topics as you want. So you're selling bicycles to young millennials living in Lagos, preferably on the island. So we have to also pick things that they are interested in and things that we might be interested in. So self is obviously a good one. Art, technology, social media. Of course, let's go look for our core wellness. Brilliant. Sports, also brilliant. And we'll look at health, and that's it. We'll move on. We'll click to start reading. But remember, we're not just here to read, we're here to also publish. So we're going to do that right away. So as you can see, if you come here, you will see my icon here. This is my profile picture picked from my Gmail account. If you open your Medium account with your Gmail account as well, you will also be able to see your icon right here. So that's what we're going to do. Click on this icon and we can actually publish our story, but we're not going to do that yet. We want to customize our Medium page with our logo and other things that are relevant to us. So all this we can leave as is. The digest on your content, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So what I want to do here, this is a good place to come to. I want to look at my username and I want to change it to something else. I want to change it to Lucky Bike Shop, right? So that anyone can mention me at Lucky Bike Shop on Medium, right? It's almost like Twitter but for longer content. So I have changed my username. Yes, I understand. So that is saved to Lucky Bike Shop. What else do I want to do? I also want to change my icon to something more brand-ish looking, right?
and I also want to change my bio, and we'll see where we'll change all that. Let's go to profile. All that will be there. Fantastic. So I'm going to edit my profile. First, my name, I will change from being downloader and change to, you guessed right. I will also enter a bit of a short bio, right? Um, bicycle, bicycle, bicycles, and their riders are welcome here. Let's do bike shop. Help me. Nice. So we're done with our bio, and we're going to change our logo as well, the avatar, the AV. Now I already designed one before the beginning of the class. I did that on Canva. If you do not know how to use Canva, go to the social slide and learn how to use Canva. It is very easy to use. So we will. I want to look for the logo I created. Let me find it. Okay, I think it's currently zipped. So I want to come to my Finder and look for the image. Go to Bike Shop. I'm going to unzip it. Don't worry about this. This happened because I was working on two logos. So this is my logo. I'm gonna find it from here. I'll click on this right here. I will find Lucky Bike Shop. That is it. I will look for my logo and open, and banana. It's going to load on Medium. That's it right there. So I'm going to save, and everything is going to change to, you know, my logo right there, our logo. This is our company. Okay, so I think I spelled millennials wrong. So let me go figure that out. Let's see what's going on there. Lagos millennials. How come Lagos millennials cycle for wellness since 2017? Yeah, we're good. So now that all this is ready, it's time to publish. Literally, this is all that you need to do. You can do other things, but you have everything you need to start publishing, right? So let us publish a new story. You can come here, and our first article could be power bike versus bicycle. Bicycle. Lagos context. Yeah. Let's add. We can add a photograph. Let's add a photograph here. To start the piece with. Let me see if I have an interesting picture. If I have an interesting picture to put there. Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna add the image later. Let's start with the content. Here are all the reasons why you should be riding a bicycle in Lagos, not a power bike. And making start my content. When you think about it, bicycles and just were old and Open and keep people anymore. Anyone, everyone writes down these days. And I can go on and on and on writing my content. I can add my image here, just the same way you publish a post normally. You know what? I can find a really good picture, so I'm just going to use this as my image. Now I can use it this way. I can put it on this side and put it right across the screen. And I can go on and on. And when I'm done, I want to come here and click to publish. It's going to ask me to add some tags. Now, some of the tags I want to use are, I want to use bicycle. I want to use latest. I want to use power bike. Remember, a lot of people are searching for power bike. And look at it, power bike is already in my subject line. Power bike is in my introduction line. And all of this is helping to make sure that this article is more discoverable on the internet. And when I click this right here, when I click to publish, my story will be live. That is it. Now, I could try to find this article just by going to Google, see what I get. I'm pretty sure that it's not going to be indexed yet. But who knows? Who knows? So I'm going to type Lagos context here, see if I get anything. Yes, that's because, it's the page has not been indexed yet. But if anyone comes to my page, they will see this content. So let me just take this. Well, someone just there on the internet just looking for me can type this in and click, and they will land on my page, my Medium page, the Lucky Buy Shop Medium page. And they can see my profile and what I'm about. And then they can also see my content. And there are different ways that people can engage with content. When they click to read it, they can let me sign in with my regular Google account. Okay, this account. So because I already have an account, I didn't have to go through all that process. So I can come here and clap for this content. I could share this content on Twitter or on Facebook or bookmark the content to read later. I could highlight to leave a comment on this content. I will do this. This is awesome. There are just so many ways for me to respond to this content. And I'm just going to click on this to respond. And there are lots of ways that people can engage with content. This is just what this is illustrating here. So this is fantastic. And so this is fantastic. And that is pretty much it. If you came back to your page and you refresh, you're going to see that someone has clapped for you. So you can also get your stats here and see what people are doing on your page. If I came here, oh, it's not showing me notifications yet. That's probably a glitch, but you can see the claps here. If I expanded this, I will see, I can see the comment that was left.
Now that you have your Medium page ready, your content management system is ready, you have your content calendar ready, the next thing to do is to actually go ahead and create the content, or in some cases, curate. What we are going to do in this section is to look at content creation, the content types that are open to you, the content creation tools that you can use, content creation ideas, content creation tools, and what brand storytelling is. Content creation is right there in the name. Content creation is simply the process of generating very informative content collaterals that serve the needs of your brands. It could be anything from a simple article to a listicle or to a white paper. Now, this is a more varied list of the different content formats that are open to you. You could write a white paper, an ebook, an infographic, a blog post, an interactive content, a video, an article, templates and checklists like we've mentioned earlier, webinars, or a podcast. We are going to go ahead and try to explain a few of this. Ebooks. Ebooks are less formal than a white paper. A white paper oftentimes is rooted in deep research. They're usually shorter than a white paper. They link to further multimedia content, and oftentimes they have the capacity for more engagement. A white paper, on the other hand, is often more about research, and they often come across as research paper, sort of like the one that you would write for your final year project in college, or as a thesis as a master's student. And those are what white papers are. But ebooks are a bit more less formal, and they're more compact and easier to consume than a white paper. The next type of content that you can push out are images. Now, these are usually graphics or photos that you may have taken yourself or downloaded from a website like, say, Shutterstock, and you can use to accompany your content going out either on social or on the content management system that you've chosen for your brand. This could be on your blog or on a Medium page that you've opened for your brand. Also, images convey branding of your branding as a company. In each post that you're putting out, one of the things I want to make sure you have is the branding of your company at a particular predefined section of that image. Also, you want to make sure that you resize this image for the platform that you're sharing it on. If you're sharing on Instagram, you know that you want to use a 1080 by 1080 dimension. If you're sharing on Twitter, you want to use the appropriate dimension for the said platform. Also, you want to give your image the right exposure. You want to make sure that it's not too dark or too light. You want to make sure that things are easy to consume by your audience when they see them. When you're taking pictures, you want to get good lighting. Also, when you're sharing on social, you want to stick to a particular palette or format such that whenever someone sees your content, your image content out in the social world, they can track back to you and know that, oh, this image is from this brand. Also, when you're editing images on your images that you've taken, you can use native editor on platforms like Instagram or Snapchat if you have if you're using Snapchat, or you can use other editors like Snapseed, which allows you to do a whole lot with the images that you've taken. Also, you can use Canva to add other elements to your content, and we're going to try to do that in the next slide. Now, let's try to use Canva to design a creative from start to finish. We are going to use Canva and combine that with a logo of Lucky Bike Shop, and also put all this together in a way that what we have at the end of the process is a creative that is fit for social media or any other platform whatsoever. Your designs and your creatives are important in how people in increasing the engagement for your Facebook page or any page for that matter. And with Canva, you can create very simple designs very easily without having the knowledge of Photoshop or Adobe After Effects or Adobe Illustrator or InDesign. And I'm going to show you how to do it. To design on Canva, the first thing you're going to do, of course, is to create a Canva account. To create a Canva account, you just come here to this section and pick, what you are. Maybe you're an education company, a teacher or a student, you're a non-for-profit, a large company, you're a small business, so pick on this one. And when you picked on this, you sign up with Google, and it is just intuitive from that point on. I already have an account, so I won't have to sign up anymore. I would just come here to log in, and I would log in with Google. And I'm going to enter my password, and I'm in. Now, if you're logging in for the first time, you're not going to see anything here on your homepage. It's going to be empty. You're going to see some directions on how to use Canva, but I've been using Canva for years, almost 4 years now. So I've done a lot, right? But to create a new design, it is very easy. Now just come here to this plus sign here, click on it. And depending on the sort of creative that you want to design, you will pick here. If you want to design a Twitter post, you can click on this one. If you want to design a presentation, you can click on this. I design presentations a lot on Canva, and I just love the templates and how I can use them. If you want to create a book cover, you can use this. You want to create an infographic, you can use this. And there are templates that you can easily edit. What we want to do for this example is to create a sample post for a Facebook post. So I'm going to click Instagram post. Now, the reason that I've clicked Instagram post is because the 1080 by 1080 dimensions of Instagram post can work across most of the popular platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, even LinkedIn. Although LinkedIn might cut out the top and the bottom of it, not really cut out, but cover up the top and the bottom of it, but people will still be able to get the gist of the creative if you use 1080 by 1080p. But 1080 by 1080 pixels. But if you were to use something else, maybe the original LinkedIn dimensions, original Twitter dimensions, it will be tricky using them on other platforms. So that is just a trick there if you do not want to make different creatives for different platforms. Now let's try to create something. We'll still work with our fictional company, Dodo.ng, the Dodo Incorporated, and we want to create a design that lets people know that maybe just know places where they can get you from or where your address is, okay? And we're going to do that with Canva. Now, to your left, there are a lot of templates that you can edit. To meet your needs, right? And that's what we're going to do. Let's find a template that brilliant. Okay, I was going to use this one, but it's not. I'm not really. I don't see yet how it will work for me, so I'm going to ignore that. I'm going to try to find something else that just. Brilliant, brilliant. So I wanted to use this one, but I can see here, this dollar sign here lets me know that it's, what's the word? It's paid for. So I won't be able to use that. So this one, this is fine. I'm going to use this one. Okay, click is not working. I'm just going to drag and drop. And I'm having a bit of trouble with the internet. Nice. So I drag and drop and it's here. Okay. Now I want to customize it to meet my needs. I want to talk about my company and then I want to talk about where they can find us, right? So I can just go ahead and change the text on this first of all. Okay. I will Control All and change the copy to something else. So the text on your creative is called a copy. So I'm going to change the copy to something else. I want to change it to, okay, there's a bit of a trouble with my internet, so I'm going to reload to make sure that I do not lose my progress. So Canva works in the cloud, so you have to be connected to the internet to be able to use it well. So it's not like Photoshop that you can use offline. It's one of the basic disadvantages of using Canva, but what you get is that it's really simple to use. I'll just highlight everything and change it to Dodo is all you need. Okay, let me see again. I think it looks better this way. Okay, and then I'll just change this to my address and about my business, Dodo Incorporated. Again, internet. So I'm just going to reload this very quickly to fix the internet downtime. Now, this doesn't happen all the time. If you have good internet, you're fine. But today specifically, the internet doesn't appear to be great, so I have to like reload all the time. But I think we'll be fine now. So again, I'll just double click and highlight, delete everything. Dodo is all you need. I will change this right here and move this down to make it look good. And now that I'm done here, I'll just pull it down. Just pull the creative down. And for this section here, what I'm going to do with it is to change it to my address. I'll change this to my company. And then just put our address here, 205A 205. And actually, I think I'm going to add our website as well. Such that wherever anyone shares this creative and they want to find us, they can easily do that. So I want to add a new text layer on this. So I will come here to the side here and click on text. And when I click on text, I'll see alternatives that I can use. So there are some pre-formatted ones here that I can use, or I could just come right here and drag and drop one of this onto my body and just type my website www.dodo.ng, and that will be my website. I will come here to the top to change the text and align right. Remember, I'm just using the same template that I've used. I could change this font to the same font as this. So I'm going to click on this. When I click on it, I'll come here. I'll see the name of the font is Playfair Display. So I'm going to change it to the same thing. Click, highlight everything, come right here, find Playfair Display. Brilliant. And click on it. And now they are the same font, right? The next thing I want to do is I want to change the background, right? I kind of have picture of Dodo against the starry night. So I want to change it to something similar. So the best platform that I use in conjunction with Canva when I'm doing designs is called Unsplash. On Unsplash, you're going to find lots and lots of free photographs. There are other platforms like this strewn across the internet. There is Death to the Stock Photo, there is Pexels, there is Pixabay that gives you a couple of free pictures in addition to some paid ones, but generally you'll find a lot of good pictures on Splash. So now I'm going to type plantain, see what I get. So this is there are lots of pictures of banana here, but this is looking actually like a good plantain. This is looking like honey glazed fried plantain with oatmeal. Oh, I love oatmeal though. Oatmeal is one of like my best meal ever. So but I've never tried this one before, so I'm gonna try it soon. So I'm gonna just download this, or click to download. Also, you can give credit to the owner of the picture. I love to give credit a lot. So for this class, I'm also going to give credit. So I will copy this and I'll use it later. I'll just click on this to copy and I'll use it later in the Instagram post. What I want to do is I want to use this image that I've just downloaded as the background on this image. So on this creative that I'm designing. So I'm going to delete this background. And I will drag this onto this edge here to upload it. Now it's going to upload. And you'll often see a bar, but it looks like it's already uploaded. So I'm just going to drag it here and drop it. Now it's loading. Fantastic. So it's only now. You notice that it's not pixelated anymore. But you've seen a bit of a problem here. It's that everything seems all over the place, right? What I want is for this plate to be this plate here to be on one side and for the text to be on another side, right? So that they're not battling for the screen real estate. And to do that, I'm going to double click on the creative on the picture. Double click, and then I will drag it to the side like so. Let's see what we have now. I've dragged it. I'll click on the check sign. It's looking good, but not as good as I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this picture bigger, make it bigger, and then I'll drag again. I think we should have a pretty decent cut of the edge now. It's still not as good as I want it to look, so I'm going to expand it. Even more and drag it down. This should be perfect. I'm sure this will be perfect. Now I'm just going to change the color on this. I'm going to Control All. I'm going to change the color. I'll click on this. I think I'm going to change to this plantain looking yellow. Does it work? No, not really. It's not working. I want to find a color that works. You know. I like this. I quite like this. I didn't think that black was going to work, but it is working. So I'll come on this and also change the, I could change it to this. It should work on this one. It's big. The text is big, so I want to reduce it a bit. I'll come here, just change to 28, change to 24. Good. And then I'll drag it to the bottom instead of the top. I'll bring Dodo Incorporated down here as well, and I'll change the color also to the semi-yellow. Okay, no, that's not going to work, so I'll bring it to, yeah, I think this shade of black works. Let me see if that same shade is going to work on this. Oh, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So that's it, and I'm going to increase it. I'll increase to 104 and just drag it here to the edge of it. Fantastic. Now this is all looking very good, but something still feels missing. It still feels like the text is blending into the background too much. So I'm going to click on the creative again and come to filter, just to make sure that the text, you know, pops more. So I'll just do that and then do this. I want the text to really pop. I will reduce the brightness, increase the contrast, not too much, just enough. Actually, maybe I should be increasing brightness and not reducing it. So contrast, and just reduce the brightness. Okay, just increase the brightness a little bit. And this is actually giving me something that I did not think that I could get. And this is looking very good. This is actually looking great. I will double click and drag this down just a bit. Just, I want to have more of this plantain. I want to have more of it in there. Brilliant, brilliant. I like this. So I'll move this up again. So again, these are just design choices that you'll have to make for yourself. I really like how this is looking. I must tell you, I love what we've done here. And just in a few minutes. So that is that. I'm done creating this. Remember, I have a logo, right? So let me, drag my logo in there as well. Let me find here. Downloads. Brilliant. This is my logo. So I want to drag and drop. It. Just going to drop it here for it to upload. It's uploading right here. So it's done uploading. I'm going to drag it. I'll come to the top right here, click on download. I'm downloading it in the JPG format. I like JPG format, although they recommend PNG, but I love JPG. Click to download, and this is gonna download to my computer. That's it. It's downloading right here. Now, if I want to use this creative on my Facebook or on any page at all I just need to do is to come to my Facebook, and I want to create a post. I'll come to my page. To publish, I'll come here. Dodo is all you need, and Dodo is all reserve. Come through and get 10% discount on your first order. Great. Next thing, I'm just gonna drag it and drop this here. I could either upload it or drag and drop it. Either way works. And that's it. I click publish. Oh, you see, I've posted this thing on Creative, but there's an I've posted it on Facebook, but there's an error here, and Dodo is all we serve. I missed the all. So good thing about Facebook, unlike Twitter, good thing about Facebook is like you can just edit, click to edit. Dodo is all we serve. Come through and get 10% off your first order, right? I can add an hashtag. Hashtags are good. Plantain Nation or whatever our hashtag is. Okay, and that's it. All done. And that's how you create designs on Canva, and that's how you post them to Facebook. Well done. And sometimes it could be limiting when it comes to consumption on the part of your audience. The advantage is that there is excitement and there are more content for people to share. Also, there's a wider audience that you can reach with different types of content. But the limitation oftentimes, in the case of video for instance, is vertical compliance. Now, vertical videos have a higher engagement on social because the phones, people want to hold it vertically to consume content instead of having to turn them horizontally to consume content. So there may be that limitation. Also, excessive data usage is another challenge. If I'm in a location where I don't have good access to data, I will not be open to consuming your video content, in which case image is going to work. A static image is going to work better for me. What this means is that you want to balance out the type of content that you're pushing out, from the text to images to videos. You want to make sure that you're not too biased towards one, such that other people who cannot consume that content are not exposed to the full scope of the content that you're pushing out as a brand. Next thing is content curation. Content curation is simply the seeding of third-party relevant content aligned with your business proposition. Now, this means instead of creating a new content from scratch, you can easily look at what other people have created and find a way to draw new perspective out of them or do other things out of them. And these are the different ways that you can use content that already exists out in the internet world but are relevant to your business or to your brand. The first thing you can do is to aggregate content, which means you take all this content about a particular topic that you're interested in, you take all the best relevant content and then pull all of them into one location where they can be easily accessed. Let's say there are so many articles talking about how to wash your bike without using so much water. You can take all these different ideas that people have about the content and then pull them up into a location on your website where people can find them easily. Usually the topic of this sort of created content could be top 10 best article on cleaning your bike in Lagos. Now, the only thing you've really created there is just the topic. All the other content that goes beneath that is from the other people. And what you're doing also is providing multiple perspective to your audience on the best way to clean their bike without using so much water. Something else you can do is what is called distillation. Now, distillation is just about looking at the multiple perspective about a particular topic and then drawing out the one and then drawing out the core of of all the content of all the perspectives that people have shared. Oftentimes, this could take a bit it could take a deeper understanding of the industry yourself to be able to distill the core of different perspectives. But it's a brilliant way to make sure that you have that you share a fresh perspective on a topic that is already going on the internet. Something else you can do is what is called elevation. Now, you can take all the content that exists about a particular topic that you are interested in and then take all this different information to come to a different conclusion, which is kind of like taking different breadcrumbs and making a loaf out of it, which is taking different perspective and not just distilling them down to the core, but arriving at a bigger conclusion, which is often making a general, a more generic perspective out of different thoughts that people have shared. So let's say different people have written articles on how to clean your bike in Lagos. What you can do is to find the different things that they've said. What does it really inform about a brand? It's just about getting a higher perspective from the different perspectives that people have shared. Also, you could do a content mashup, which is to borrow the different perspective that people have shared and then pull all that into a whole new article, which where you're saying this is what that person said about cleaning your bike, this is what this person said about cleaning your bike, this is what that person said about cleaning your bike. And oftentimes a topic like this will come out as what X amount of people says about cleaning your bike in Lagos. Now that is a mashup. You create a whole new content from all the different content that exists across the internet about a certain topic. Now, the next and final thing that you can do with different content is what is called chronological. Now, this is more of an historiographical curation of content. Now, if over a time series people have talked about cleaning your bike and they've had this different perspective about cleaning bikes, the topic of a content like this could be what different people have said about cleaning your bike over the last 10 years. Now, in year one, you could have a perspective out and say, look, this is what they said about cleaning your bike in 2010. But in 2018, this is what they are saying about cleaning your bike. And it can be a chronology of the different perspectives that have been shared. And usually this kind of content works best as an infographic. For content creation, some tools that you can use to really get better at, to really do a good job of content creation is Feedly. Feedly allows you to simply key in a keyword into the search bar and it will feed you the most relevant content about that keyword. Google Alerts, it's something else that you can use, and this gives you up-to-date notification whenever people use a certain keyword that you're interested in as a brand. And when you get access to all these different articles, you can do anything with them, from aggregation to distillation to elevation and publishing chronological piece on the topic that you've picked. Another element of your content creation process is defining your personality, which is more like how you're going to sound when you're pushing out your content. At the functional stage, you want to figure out, are we going to be educational? Are we going to talk about customer service? Are we going to talk about our products? Are we going to talk about our office? What are our content going to be about? Now you can combine all four of these or just stick to one, in which case the only thing you're writing about is customer service. But it's often recommended to pack all of this together. Now, when it comes to emotion, what kind of emotion do you want to inspire in the people that are consuming your content? Is it emotion? Is it passion? Is it thought leadership? Do you want them to perceive you as a thought leader? Do you want to perceive you as an exciting brand, or a reactive brand, or a topical brand who is always on top of the latest thing going on in the industry? Now, you would have to decide what sort of emotion that you want to inspire in the people that are consuming your content. Also, in terms of essential, you want to figure out what is going to be your competitive advantage. Is it in price? Is it in time of promotion that you're using? Is it the location where your business is located? Or the availability or distribution of your brand? Oftentimes when you combine all of these different elements together, you would arrive at the right personality that your brand wants to put out to its audience and its buyers and consumers. Now that we have looked at what it means to create brand and what it means to create content and to create content, and also to figure out what your brand personality is going to be, let's look ahead. Let's go on and talk about publishing this content that you've created. We will look at the different content platforms. We'll look at content seeding, content promotion, and content repurposing. After you've developed your content, there are three core platforms where you could share your content. It could be on your blog or your website, it could be in your email newsletter, or as a social post across the different platforms that exist in social. If you go to the social model in this course, you will see more, you'll get more insight into the different social platforms that you can use and how to use them. When it comes to content seeding and promotion, distribution can be done across across three broad categories of platforms. There is the owned media, collaborated media, the earned, and the paid media. Owned media is simply a platform that you can own by yourself, and this falls between your blog, your newsletter, and the different social media platforms that exist. You have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, Pinterest, blog, your website, LinkedIn, and so many other different social media platforms that exist out there. These are platforms that you can create for yourself, and you can control the narrative on that platform. Another category of platforms are collaborative platforms, and these are platforms similar to forums where people share their own thoughts on things that people have asked about. Now, Reddit is a brilliant example. A local example is Narrowland, where people usually share questions and people provide answers. Pinterest is also another collaborative platform where people come together to collaborate on the things that they find most interesting on the internet. Also, tagging people in your social post. Is another way to get them to see your content and sometimes even share that content if they find it very relevant. Also, linking back to other people's content is a way to leverage a collaborative approach to promoting your content. When you link back to other people's platform, to other people's content, oftentimes they see you that you've linked back to their content, and they could reshare it if they see that you are providing a very you're providing a good perspective on the content that they had shared earlier. And oftentimes this is a way to get what we call earned media or free media from other people. Now, when it comes to earned and paid media, oftentimes this comes from third-party social channels. When you pay on Facebook to get your content promoted, that is, paid media. Earned media could also come from online news sites who find your content interesting and want to share it happily. Also, you could pay to get your content featured on different online news sites. You could also use influencer channels by paying influencers to share your content or develop a content about you. You can use blogs or vlogs. You can also work with journalists to write favorable articles about your brand. You could also use affiliate marketing or have a media partnership with a brand where both of you develop content together and get exposed to each other's audiences. Also, something that is important to learn about content promotion is why users share content. Oftentimes, by knowing why users share content, you can know how to connect with them. It could go along the spectrum. It could be from reward to social currency to functionality. If you say that people will get a certain amount of money to share your content, they will often do it. Another reason why people share content is for social currency. If sharing a particular content is going to make them appear in a favorable manner, maybe it's going to make them appear to be woke, or it's going to make them to appear to be a thought leader in the industry, they would often share that content. There is also functionality. If it generally helps them to do their work better, they would definitely share that content with other people who exist with who are in their circle of influence. Now, another way to work with the content that you've already created is to do what we call content repurposing. Content repurposing is when you reuse a content that is still relevant through a different format that fits its purpose. It simply means you've developed a certain content and now you realize, okay, instead of just making this content a blog, let me also make it a podcast or make it a video or make it into an infographic or even extend it into a white paper. And this is an example. You could have a blog and say, this could work great as an infographic, and then you can work with a creative designer to pick out the key aspects of this blog and create an infographic out of this. You could make it a motion graphic as well, which is just animated words on the screen about the blog or extending the blog that you've already published. You can make a podcast out of it, or you could build that blog into a white paper. Let's say you published a content on how to clean your bike in Lagos, which is a topic that we've talked about a lot in this model. If you publish a piece like that, you could extend it such a way that you're now asking people, how do they clean their bikes in Lagos? Why do they clean their bikes in Lagos? And you could share a survey about this, and based on the response that people give to you, you can publish a white paper on the state of bike cleaning in Lagos or something similar to that. This is going to be almost an academic piece into the concept of bike cleaning in Lagos. And some people could truly find this relevant and they will share this with their own audience, and in that way your brand is getting the visibility that it needs. Now, the final thing to consider when you've built your content, distributed your content, promoted it, repurposed it, is measuring the impact of your content. The things that you want to know when you're measuring impact of your content is, what is the return on investment of your content? How are you achieving your content marketing goals? And what are the key metrics? And in the first place, what tools can you use to get the right measurement for your content that you're producing and distributing? The content marketing goals are similar to what you have in the buyer journey. It will often go from awareness to loyalty. Another word for loyalty will be advocacy or retention. Now, from awareness to consideration to sales to loyalty, there are different sub-objectives that you can be paying attention to. Under awareness is reach, impressions, and frequency. How many people are you able to speak with? How many people are seeing your content? And how often are they seeing your content? At the consideration stage, it is clicks and engagement. Are people clicking back to your website? Are they engaging on the different posts that you're sharing? Are they leaving comments? Are they liking and sharing? Sales is how many actually click, not just to read your content, but click to basket, which is the click to buy your content. How many people are abandoning their carts? How many people are actually converting through that sales process and not abandoning their carts and going back to the beginning of the sales cycle? And after sales, loyalty is next, which is how many of those who have bought from you are coming back to buy from you. How many people are joining your community, maybe signing up to your newsletter and telling other people about your content? If you had an ambassadorial program, which is a program that says maybe whoever shares your email newsletter to 10 people and those 10 people signed up, they will get a free merchandise from your company, for instance. That could always help people to talk about you willingly with the goal of getting this merchandise from your brand. Also, reviews are key. When people have used your product and they enjoy it, you should encourage reviews. And if you are having more reviews, if your objective is to get more reviews for your brand, this is the kind of metric that you want to track. When you've published your content, the type of measurement tools that you can use could be the native reporting tool of the content platform that you use. There are so many different platforms that we've mentioned. For Medium has a native reporting tool that allows you to know how many people are reading your content and even how far into your content they go. You can also see comments on your page and how many clicks that you get. But a more robust tool to use is Google Analytics, which links from your website to your blog, to your e-commerce platform, and you can simply see a journey of how people are using your platform. In the analytics module, you will learn more about how to use Google Analytics to measure the impact of your content. Now, that is the end of content marketing module. As you've seen, it is not too hard to create content. You just need to make sure that you set the right objectives for your brand, create the right content calendar for your brand, and make sure that you're measuring the impact of the content that you're producing. At the end of the day, you'll see that people are coming into your brand instead of you going out every time to go look for them. All the best in your content marketing endeavors.